Who knows? We are in Algebra 1, Lesson 3-3, Slope from 2 points. Today's date is Wednesday, October 7th, 2020. Our objective today is to do what? Ripley again.
Find the slope from a table and from 2 points.
There it is. All right, so you guys have your own definition of slope. Mr. Sandell really likes my deltas, my triangles. So my definition for slope, does anyone remember how to use it with deltas? Giorgio? You can do yours too if you want.
Is it the y equals mx plus b?
That's your slope intercept form, which is going to be, when is that lesson coming up? That's lesson, oh gosh. When is that? I'm looking through all of my notes. 3-8, I think that's when we get lines. It's 3-7, so very far away. Diego?
It's delta y over delta x.
There it is, delta y over delta x. How much you change in y versus how much you change in x. And this is a formula that will also help you today. Again, there's a bunch of different ways to memorize slope. Here's one of them. You can say that I can do subtraction for the y coordinate. So if I have 2 y coordinates, I'll do one of them, we'll call it like y2 minus y1. And then make sure that you're doing it in the same order. So here's something that's incorrect. Don't write this down. This is incorrect. If I were to write down x1 minus x2, these are not in the right order. You need to make sure that it's x2 minus x1. This is now correct, x2 minus x1. You always need to choose the second point and then subtract the first point, second point, subtract the first point, or the reverse of that. First point minus the second point, first point minus the second point. Don't switch your coordinates. I'll show you what that looks like in an example, but for now, there's your formula. Generally speaking, you'll have 2 points that you're talking about. So one of the points might be x1 comma y1, and maybe the second point, I'll call it x2 comma y2. That's what these variables mean. So y2 just means the y coordinate of the second point that I'm talking about. Again, this is your first point. This is your second point. So the number, the sub 2, I guess, represents which one I'm talking about. All right, let's look at example number 1. What is the slope of the line passing through these two points? I have 1, 3, and 7, 1. So first, oh yeah, what's up? You already figured it out? Dang it. Okay, so fast. Nice. Everyone graph 1, 3, and 7, 1 on your graph. Graph them. 1, 3, 7, 1. Where do they live? And then try to look over at your neighbor's work. So if you can't see someone else's work, just check someone else's work. I know it's kind of hard with being 6 feet apart. See if your neighbor graphed them correctly. And then you can check Mr. Sandell too. 1, 3. I'm going to use blue here. 1, 3 is right here, and 7, 1 is all the way over here. They're both in the first quadrant in that top right quadrant. Nod your head, yes, if you got it. Got it. All right, nice. So essentially what I'm saying is there's a line that goes through those 2 points. So if I sketch a line here, I mean, I have technology, so mine will be a little bit more neat than yours. But if I sketch a line that goes through those 2 points, I'm trying to find the slope of this line. I can come down a little bit. And Ripley has an answer already. Negative 2 over 6. How'd you get that?
Because it's 2 down and 6 across. So I'll start from that side.
So 2 down, so minus 2 and 6. When you say across, you mean left or right? Right, okay, yeah, because left would be a negative amount and then right would be a positive amount. So this is going to be plus 6. And you said the fraction is negative 2, 6?
Yes, negative 2 over 6.
All right, so let me write it out. Slope here is going to be equal to our change in y over our change in x. And you said that is a change in y of negative 2, a change of x of positive 6. Giorgio.
Wouldn't it be negative 1 and
Well,
3?
if you simplify it.
Yeah.
You would always simplify it.
Yeah, you both have it correct. Because they specifically chose a problem, or maybe I chose this problem, so that I didn't choose the closest lattice points to each other. Again, a lattice point is anything that's in a crosshair. So if they gave you like a point that was right here at 4, comma 2, and then maybe some other point, then you wouldn't have to reduce it, but we do have to reduce this one. So I'm going to divide the numerator and denominator by 2 to reduce. And as Giorgio said, this is -1/3, and we box it. -1/3 is the slope. And you can check that with the rolling the ball example. If I have a ball and I put it over here on the left-hand side, it rolls downhill. Going down means I am negative. So I have a -1/3. So why would I ever want to use this formula up here, this y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1? If your numbers are ever confusing, if you can't draw it out, you're about to see Khan Academy problems where I do not give you a graph. You can always make your own graph, but since I'm not giving it to you, it's going to take a while to make. So let's show you how to do that without a graph. So again, now try to ignore the graph. Maybe put your hand over your graph if you want. If you only have the numbers 1, 3 and 7, 1, what would you do? First, I'm going to say the first point is my first point. I'll call that my first point. So this is going to be my x1 and my y1. The second point, obviously, is going to be my x2 and my y2. I'm going to write my formula once again, just so that I can remind us. So my other equation for slope looks like this. Slope is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. And then I just plug and chug. So I'm going to call in 4 volunteers, kind of going fast here. Which one is y2? What number is y2? We already wrote it down. It's either 1, 3, or 7. Diego. 1. What's y1? Haiti? Say again. 3. Keep it going. X2. Yes. Right. There it is. 7 minus x1. What's x1? Jose? Yeah.
That'd be 1.
1. Yeah, there you go. 1. And then if I simplify the numerator and denominator, can someone do the addition and or both of these subtraction problems for me? I'm going to try to call in someone new because we don't have everyone in yet. No. Zeke, go for it. 1 minus 3.
Oh, 1 minus 3 is -2.
And then 7 minus 1.
7 minus 1 is
6. And hey, look at this. This is the exact same fraction that Ripley gave us back up here. Ripley told us -2/6, and we got -2/6. So this formula does indeed work. Again, I need to simplify. Divide by 2 for the numerator and denominator, and I get -1/3. So it's another way of finding the answer, but without having to use a graph. Let's try another one where I'm not going to give you a graph. So example number 2, what is the slope of the line passing through 1, -4 and -5, 0? So I'll let you guys try this for a sec. All right, so quiet raise hand. What should I do first? What was your first step? Let's see, 1 hand, 2 hands, 3 hands. Diego, go for it. I hear ya.
So I first put 0 minus 4
0 minus 4,
with -5 minus 1.
-5 minus 1.
And I got -4/6, which simplifies it to -2/3.
Equals -2/3. Okay. Welcome, Alden. All right. So there are a few mistakes in here, but let's see if we can find them. Braden. The 0 needs to be a 1. Which 0?
0 minus 1.
Oh yeah, so it should be a 1 minus 4 right here. Not quite. So remember that these both should be y coordinates, right? So the y coordinates are first that y coordinate here, which is 0, this y coordinate, which is -4, but you're close. There is some error that is in that numerator. Ripley?
It should be -4,
It looks like it is -4 though, right?
but that's minus.
Ah,
It should be minus -4.
exactly. So if I were to look at my formula, so let me kind of undo stuff right here. Let's look at how the original formula looks. So I have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If I just leave these as empty spots, so I have, that's my y2 minus, that's my y1, all over my x2 minus my x1. My y2 is 0. I plug in 0. Oops. My y1 is -4. So I plug in -4. I really have a double negative here. Yeah, and then whenever you have a negative times a negative, that's a positive. So as a little reminder to everyone, a positive times a positive is a positive. Maybe I can do parentheses instead of the dot. So positive times a positive is a positive. A negative times a positive is a negative. A positive times a negative is a negative. And a negative times a negative is a positive. There's your chart that you should have had memorized, but it's good to review these things too. So because I have a minus times another minus, that is going to be a positive. And let me fill in the bottom yet again. And I think, yeah, Diego got that right. So it's just going to be the -5 and then 1 that gets plugged in. The top, a negative times a negative is a positive. So I have a +4. The denominator, I'll have to be careful. Another way of thinking of -5 minus 1 is -5 plus a -1. You can always keep change if you're confused about what's going on. Thank you. You're all done now?
Yeah.
Perfect. A -5 plus a -1 is a -6.
You can substitute that in 2 over -3.
You could do that, yeah. But next time, if you could raise your hand, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, so divide top and bottom by 2, divide top and bottom by 2. This is going to be 2 over -3, or just -2/3. Okay. Yes, Jose.
Doesn't it have to be? Wait, no.
What was your question though? Doesn't it have
I
to
was gonna say, doesn't it have to be +6?
+6? Why do you think, or why did you originally think it might be +6?
No, I got confused because on the first one was I did set a negative sign on the board because Intercept is positive.
Ah, got it. Okay. Yeah, so this part up here. Okay. Can you guys give me a fist of 5 so I can get some more feedback? How well do you know how to do these problems so far? Oh my gosh, those are really high numbers. Everyone's giving me a 5 or a 4. Not a single person. Okay. And 1, 3. Okay, so let's try example 3. And it's basically the same formula. You're going to plug it in, try it out. And then we're going to do tables on the backside. So try example 3. I'm going to silently do example 3 up on the board so that we can make sure that we're getting through all of this. Good luck on example 3. And Alden, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Well, not good, obviously. I'm sick, but I'm better than yesterday. So
Better than yesterday. That's good improvement. Do you need me to scroll up to the top part and you want to maybe take a screenshot or something?
yeah. Hang on 1 second.
Do you know how to take a screenshot on your computer? If you do Command-Shift-4, it should let you drag over an area. And then that picture, in theory, should save to your desktop. So I can show you how it looks on mine. So if I do Command-Shift-4,
It's okay. I have it now. So, I mean.
Sorry, what was that?
I have it. I took a
You have it?
picture.
Okay, cool.
So.
All right, as I said, I'm going to silently do number 3 up here on the board. And you guys can look up if you have any questions. this look. All right, so I'm trying to find the slope of the line that contains these points. So this is an even easier problem, in my opinion, because you can choose any points that you want. Before, you had 2 points, like maybe this point and this point. Now you can choose any points you want. I can do 0, 5, and 4, 11 if I want. I can do 0, 5, and 2, and 8. You get to choose whichever 2 points you want, and then use the same formula again. So again, our formula, our new one for today, is that slope is equal to, and really, there is a shortcut here. Maybe I'll show you the shortcut after I do the long way. So the long way is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So let's choose a point, or 2 points, I should say, and plug this in. I have to have the minus sign in here. Oops. So minus bigger parenthesis, parenthesis minus another parenthesis. I'm gonna do some substitution. Anyone have an idea on what points we should choose? It doesn't really matter. We'll get the same answer either way. Ripley, which ones should we use? 2 and 8, 4, 11. Okay, so 2, 8, 4, 11. So I'll say that this is my second point. This is my first point. Again, it doesn't matter which one. If I change this one to be my first point and this one to be my second point, I'll still get the same answer. So if this is my second point, it's going to be y2. So 11 is my y2. 8 is my y1. Ooh, got lag there. Y1. And you guys can't really see that, so maybe I'll write it down here. Y2, y1, and then this is my x2 and my x1. Plugging into our formula gives us what? I need someone to do all the substitution. Can someone do all 4? All 4? I've been calling Ripley a lot. I want to try to call someone new if I can. Jose?
For the first one on top, is going to be -2.
Oh yeah, you're already skipping ahead. Can you just fill in the blanks first?
Okay. That's 2 over 8.
2 over, oh, so you're going to be careful. So it's the 2 y coordinates. So this is the y. So it's going to be these 2 numbers.
Okay. 8 minus 11.
Okay, and you can do it that way. So you're doing y1 minus y2, which is fine. So 8 minus 11. And then the next ones are going to be 2 minus 4. Yeah, and this one will still work, and I'll show you guys. Okay, so I need someone else now to do the subtraction. Ripley's been waiting patiently. Go for it, Ripley.
So the top one is 3 over 2.
3 over 2. In this case, because we switched the order, it's actually going to be -3, right? So -3 over -2, and because a negative divided by a negative is a positive, that's going to be a +3 over 2. And again, maybe the way you want to think about this is you're really dividing the top and bottom by -1, divide by -1, and you get +3 over +2. There's a few different ways of thinking about that. I showed you guys the long way. Can I show you the shortcut now too? The shortcut is using my favorite formula. My favorite one is slope is equal to the change in y over the change in x. So the question that I have for you guys is, how much did I change to get from any of these 2 numbers? I'll just go from 0 to 2. How much did I go? Did I add or subtract, and by how much? And with a quiet raised hand, who has this? Go for it. Add 2. And then that was my x. Now, how much did I move to get from 5 to 8? I added or subtracted. Come on, some new people. Yesenia, go for it. To get it from 5 to 8, I did what operation? Add 3. And I just plug it in. My change in y is 3. My change in y is 3. My change in x is 2. 3/2. No math required. Well, I mean, you have to do the math to find the original difference here, but it's really just your change in y over change in x. And because you can probably say, I know I have to add 2 to get from 0 to 2 in your head, you can find everything on this question mentally. You don't have to write anything down if you're really keen about it. I want to try to use that shortcut on example number 5. I want to say that slope is equal to change in y over the change in x. So then the question is, how much did I move to get from 34 to 39? How much did I move? Did I add or subtract to get from 36 to 32? I'm getting Braden and Ripley over and over again. Can I get someone new? Someone that hasn't talked about? Who have I not talked to today? Carlos. Para mover de 34 a 39, como mucho suma o menos? So, más 5, okay. Y por y. ¿Mande? ¿Más 7? No, 5 es 4. See, okay, there it is. There it is. All right, so Carlos gave us our change in x, our change in y, and then I just plug it in, right? Our change in y, this is the y. So our change in y is -4. Come down here and say our change in y is -4. Our change in x is +5. The answer is -4/5. Thank you, Carlos. And there's a typo there. Again, if you find teacher mistakes like the typo that's up here, I'm not going to shout it out because I want you guys to find it. If you find the typo, it's extra credit. How many people found the typo? How many people are getting extra credit right now? I'll give you guys 10 more seconds. See if you can find the typo. These tiny errors, I don't like them. Catch them for me. Haiti, what was the typo? Yeah, this should be example 6. So if you found that example, trust-based system, go ahead and log the teacher error in your extra credit tracker, and I'll come around and sign it in a few seconds. This should be, well, a few minutes, I should say. This should be example 6. So if everyone can cross out the 5, that should be example 6. Sorry about that. Only people that found it. If you didn't find it, then you don't get the extra credit. So I'm guessing probably a handful of you guys found it. All right, try example 6 on your own. We'll come back and reconvene in a few minutes. All right, I'll go ahead and give you guys the answer as well after you check with your neighbor. So slope, again, delta y over delta x, the change in y over the change in x. I changed by adding 1. I changed by adding 3. So the answer here is 3 over 1, which just simplifies to 3. All right, can you guys all give me a fist of 5 on today's lesson? How well can you do all the problems that we saw today? I'm seeing 4s and 5s, 4s and 5s, a 3, a 4, 5, a 4. All right, thank you guys.